Tell us who you are, tell us a bit about your company, and tell us what your business looked like heading into the tail end of 2019.
Nathan Miller with Bekins Moving and Storage, and to touch on a little bit of my background and where I came from and how I've come to this point in my company. 21 years ago, I started out on the truck. So I was what was called a swamper, and I was just bringing stuff to the truck. So if you fast forward to date, I own the Bekins franchise here in Kelowna. I essentially created it from scratch. Unlike other franchises that have been bought existing, I really only brought the franchise and the name itself, and then created the branch here out of what I've been doing leading up to that point. And that was about 5 years ago. So the connection there is that throughout those years, I've done every position in my company, from working the truck to sales to dispatch to management and ownership now. So leading up to the pandemic and the reaction of the world to COVID, in the transportation industry, it's a challenge at best. So you have the ups and downs. It's a supply and demand industry. So leading up to March, mid-March, there is sort of when it's our time to amp up again. Summer's our peak season. So, after peak season and into the fall, winter time, we take a little break and sort of recharge. And springtime is really our push. And it's like, okay, we've had our rest. We're ready to go. Let's hammer down, get ready for the flow of work. So we're just amping up for that, and then the world shuts down. So, immediately from a business standpoint, I'm thinking, okay, where do we fall in line with this? We are transportation, but we're moving and storage. So are we essential? Who's defining what essential is? And out of that, effectively what it came down to for us is transportation is essential. Moving goods and moving people is essential, and we're a backbone to the real estate market as well. So once people move and they have their legal deals, pandemic or not, there's legal ramifications, and they need to be out of their house for possessions. So we're deemed essential. Then you move to the safety part of it. Okay, we're in people's homes. We're interacting with multiple customers every day. They're coming. We're storing 100,000 pounds of customers' furniture just in our warehouse. So the interaction of customers is nonstop. Delivery, we have about 30 crew that are frontline, I define, which are surveying staff, which are in the home, and then the staff working the truck, providing the loading services, packing services. So what does that mean for them from a safety front? Because it's twofold, business and safety. So realistically, I've always been looking at May as being the big month, I think, and with everything that's going on, how do I get through May? Fortunately and unfortunately, I don't qualify for like the 75% wage subsidy or the rent subsidy, because we are still working. And March was a big dip down, and then April was, okay, well, how do I adjust for that dip? We can't go on that way if we're going to lose that much revenue, expenses increase. So I waited till the last minute, just a week ago, and I went in and I cut and I slashed every expense possible. I talked with the staff. I said things like benefits right now as an example. You're not able to go do your chiro and your massage and see the dentist. Let's cut those expenses temporary, couple months, even to the point of even the way we're with the trucks. We've uninsured trucks. We've cut materials we're using, like any little area, so that I didn't have to lay off staff. I've went to it. It came up to this week going, okay, we have a hard decision on our office salaried staff. If we don't see the workflow increase, the work's not there, we're not going to really have a choice, right? To maintain the bigger picture of the company being open, we might have to lay them off. We get word that we're not eligible for the wage subsidy, but we came together, we addressed our operating, our expenses, and then we went at our pricing, and we went hard. We said, okay, now's the time that we don't want to let anything go. We're going to be really aggressive with our pricing and our tariffs. Obviously, we have a quality, a standard we have that we won't compromise, but we need to do better on that front as well. And same thing with our frontline staff doing the in-home surveys. Normally, we want to be in there. We want to see what you have exactly. We want to give you accurate quotes. Well, because everybody's on heightened alert about being around each other, we just completely switched it to virtual and phone. Now, luckily for us, we have the ability to do that. Our programs that we've have in place in our process. We've been upgrading those for the last 2 years. So one of the other things that emerges out of this business challenges, everything we've been working towards from when I started this company 5 years ago, is all backed by, well, we've got this in place for if we really need it. So we have a whole bunch of those. What happens in a one-off situation? Will our system hold true, our process? Here we are in the middle of it, and we're rock solid. All my staff, I removed all the office staff remote. So they're all working separate from each other. That's a huge culture and atmosphere challenge. My staff, they typically are a desk lengths apart from each other, and there's about 3 different departments, teams of 2-3 people. You remove each other, and you really realize how much of a true family you are. Not just if you are or not, but even just the time that we spend together, right? A lot of the time, it's more than you spend with your family. You're at work, and you really get to know those people. Remove each other from each other, and at first it's like, all right, I have a break. And then after a week, you're like, I really miss them. I miss that. Everybody's doing really good with that. Those are the challenges. Coming up to May 1st, I made the decision actually just a couple days ago. We're not laying off the staff. We're really doing good with our sales. It's not better than it was year over year, but it's better than it was month over month, and that's all we can ask for. As long as the staff stays healthy and we keep our measures in place, and we see at least steady bookings, the number one thing is everybody keeps working. I haven't had to lay off one single staff so far. We've had a few challenges with, okay, well, I'm feeling sick. What do I do? You go home. It's really that simple. And then, okay, I'm feeling better now. Okay, well, let's make sure 100% before you come back. A few days out, I'm not sure what other people or companies are doing. It's a no-brainer. You're being paid. Go home. We'll figure it out. We're working as a team, right? I'm sort of predicting that in the next couple months here, things will start to open up again and pick back up. And then I sort of foresee it that when you turn the tap back on, it's going to be full on, and we probably won't even be able to keep up with everything that's out there. Big part to all of this is trying to stay positive in a super negative situation, and it's a downer, and what am I going to do? How am I going to get to the next day, let alone the next week? Just sit down, pull a piece of positive out of whatever you're doing, try to apply that, and just work towards the next day. So
yeah, how have you kept that culture, that tightness going when everybody's remote like this? Is there anything unique that you're doing to keep fostering the culture and the tightness of your team?
Well, this really goes back to what I touched on with the last few years, really working on the back end and the process of the company. So in doing that, there was already our natural departments where the pecking order, one person is touching base with another person, and we have a really good process that way. So instead of the daily updates with each other in person, we just simply had to format it and structure it to, okay, every morning at 9, you're having a departmental conversation. Once a week, you're having a Zoom conversation with your main team. We've scrapped our full-on team meetings because of the application with the frontline workers. It just doesn't make sense to do it that way. So we've just really kept everybody connected, using the same process and format we already have, just changing the tools we were using, right? Instead of using the lunchroom, we're now using our living rooms with.
And what are you hearing from customers when you're able to provide the storage facility for them to buy them some more time, and what kind of feedback are you getting on providing these kinds of services that you've never really had to use before?
So generally, moving is one of the top 10 stressful things for people in general. So when you add in multiplying factors like pandemics or travel restrictions or uncertainty on quarantine rules and who can travel between what province, it really puts people's mental state in very high, intense, anxious manner. So again, we've just continued to follow the same process we always have, and the number one being communication. The more we have communicate with our customers and potential customers, the more it sets their minds at ease. We make sure as well, we're also sending them documentation, COVID-related processes, what that means for them, and what they need to do as part of the solution as well, right? And then on the back end, when we say, okay, and you know what, if you just mentioned you're a little unsure when you're going to get to, say, Vancouver, no problem. If you get there on the Monday, the Friday, you just let us know what you need in terms of time and space, and we're going to accommodate that. And the most important part is we're not going to charge you for it.
How are you better as an organization now to service your customers, and what is different now and how you're able to help people that maybe you wouldn't have ever come up with if you weren't faced with this crisis?
That collaboration effort. Normally there's all kinds of industry and business that would never get together. Like you have car companies making face shields. You would never guess that in a million years, right? So we forced ourselves collectively as a society to work better together. And we're doing the exact same thing locally, just in our company. And yeah, it's only 30 people, but it's a tight-knit family. And when you ask everybody to effectively keep away from everybody on purpose, and you're so used to being together, it really tests your process and your company as a whole and that culture, right? When we as management have our team in front of us, or we can reel them in, and someone walks into the office and you can just tell that they're off already, something's going on. We don't have that right now. All we have is tone of emails and voices, right? So it's really important to recognize the different measures that we can when we're speaking with each other. Like if your voice is off, absolutely just take a minute, have a conversation, make sure they're doing okay personally, because the reality right now is most people personally are not doing okay. Customers are on edge too, just like we are. So if we're rocking and rolling and we're smooth, and on the back end we're staying tight together as a team, our customers 100% are going to get that type of product, which is we care, this is easy, we're trying to eliminate stress. You know what? You might have to wash your hands a few more times. If that's the worst of it, let's just keep washing away.
Awesome story, Nathan. Thank you. You're a hero there amongst the moving industry, and we really appreciate you sharing your story with us today. And let's keep smiling. Let's keep people moving, and we'll talk soon.
Perfect. Thanks, Rod. Have a great day.